Hello everyone, Alex Savoie for Discovery of Wine. Today we have a wine from Rioja. So looking back on the old episodes, I realized I hadn't done one of these, and so I'm very excited to do one for you guys today. And so we're tasting is the Montecillo Crianza 2006. Now if you go and seek this out, you'll find it 2007 at the SAQ. And it's going for $17.70, I believe. Now, you might notice the Crianza saying that's on there. That simply means it's been aged for 6 months in oak barrels and at least 3 years total, so barrel and bottle, before it's been put out on the market. Now, if you want something that's been aged a little bit longer, you might look for Reserva, and Gran Reserva is usually the top wine of the winery. It's been aged for at least 2 years in oak and 5 years total. And most wineries will only make their Gran Reserva in the great vintages, so in the years that that go really well. Bodega Montecillo is one of the classic wine regions. Bodegas in Spain, and Rioja is clearly the classic wine region in Spain. Now you hear a lot about Priorat and Ribera del Duero nowadays, which have been making a lot of noise for about 20-30 years. And there's a lot of smaller up-and-coming regions, but Rioja is, it's the old school, traditionalist wine region. Now, there's two different schools of thought, if you want, in Rioja. Some people are making sort of a new world type of wine or a more modern wine, and some other people are making more the older style wine. So maybe not as fruit forward. And a little bit more, I don't know, terroir driven or austere to some people, but Montecillo should be more in that second category of the old world type of winemaking technique. So that's it. We're going to taste this right now. Now this is the first time I do this. I usually tape one shot, that's it, and you guys get what you see. Obviously sometimes it doesn't look so great because I don't do editing. But today I did that. I came home late, I opened the bottle, I wanted to do the show right away. I started doing it, and the wine was really not showing well because the acidity was way too high and the bitterness was bothering me as well. So now I had dinner, so obviously I've had some of this wine now, and with dinner it was a pork chop and it was perfect. Exactly the right kind of wine, not overpowering but strong enough to stand up to the pork. And so yeah, this is sort of the second take on it because I'm hoping it'll show better than it did earlier. So sorry about that. Okay, what I'm getting on the nose is some tobacco. This is very typical of the tempranillo grape, which is what makes this wine. And tempranillo is the classic red grape for Spain, especially in Rioja and Ribera del Duero. I'm also getting some crushed grapes that were kind of like you make grape jam, but you make it sort of sour instead of making it too sweet. That's what I'm getting on the nose. Yeah, definitely. Getting a lot of earth tones. This is a very classic young Rioja smell or tempranillo smell. Which I'm very used to. This is the first wine I really started drinking about 10 years ago, so I'm used to this, and I can spot it pretty easily, because most other wines, blind, honestly, I can't spot that easily, but this usually I'll be able to get, and this is very classic Tempranillo nose. That was my whole point. Okay, so we're talking about the old winemaking technique rather than the new one. This is not a fruit bomb. This is not a Shiraz from Australia. This is not a California Cab. I'm getting some tannins, but they're smooth. They're easy. But I'm noticing them at the same time. The acidity is there as well, but it's not overpowering. And neither is the fruit. So what I'm getting here is a wine that is a lot more food friendly than a wine drinking by itself. This is not the greatest thing to drink by itself, but with food, this is perfect, because what I find a lot of times is that in the modern winemakers, when they make wine, it's very approachable, very enjoyable by itself, like this, because it's very fruity, sweet, and everything. But with the meal, sometimes it'll overpower your meal, or you don't necessarily want, you know, tons of fruit on your pork chop, or on your whatever you're eating. And this is what it's giving me. This is a very food-friendly wine. I would have this with any kind of meat. It's not especially a strong wine, so I think with the pork it was perfect, which is, you know, sort of that in the middle range between beef and chicken. So this was a great match tonight. Yeah, somebody who doesn't like wines that are a little bit acidic with a slightly bitter taste might not like this one. But anybody that likes that, you know, older, old school type of wine, that's dry, you know, dry red wine that's not too fruit forward, should definitely look for this. This is my kind of wine. Doesn't mean that somebody who doesn't like this, you know, doesn't have a good palate. They probably have a better palate than me. But anyways, if you want to try Spanish red wine, this is not a given because it's almost $18, but it's very good, and I would definitely look for this. 2007 is a better vintage than the one I tasted 2006. So go out, look for this, try it, and let me know what you think about it. Do you guys drink Spanish wine? Yes or no? That's what I want to hear in the comments below. So that's it for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.